The Voice Kelly Clarkson, Adam Levine, and John Legend has the power to alter hopeful lives. However, the celebrity singers had to make a living before they could sit in those famous red chairs. Furthermore, not all of those positions involve the skills that would eventually make them famous. Entertainment now examines their first employment as Labor Day draws near. These experiences, which range from Hoover demos to Johnny Rockets counters to consultancy life, demonstrate that even celebrities had modest beginnings. Prior to becoming the first ever winner of American Idol, Kelly Clarkson performed a variety of regular jobs. Kelly was a cocktail server, telemarketer, Hoover salesperson, and even promoted energy products by going from bar to bar. According to Taste of Country, she saved every dime to pursue her singing ambitions while working at a movie theater, drugstore, Chili's, and the Fort Worth Zoo. Her perseverance paid off when she tried out for and won American Idol, opening the door for her to sing, host talk shows, and now serve as a coach on The Voice. The working world wasn't nearly as glamorous as life on stage when Adam Levine first experienced it. I got signed to a record label at a young age, so technically I was paid as a musician. So that was my first job, Levine disclosed. But after that record deal fell through, and I got a job at Johnny Rockets. And then I got a job actually on a TV show. He soon realized that restaurant life wasn't for him while working at Johnny Rockets. Levine has quipped that although his time there was brief, it taught him a lot about humility and hard work. Nevertheless, he entered the television industry by working as a production assistant behind the scenes on Judging. Amy and Adam eventually formed Maroon 5. After reverting to his original passion for music after attempting his hand at education. As they say, the rest is history. John Legend started his career in the corporate world before rising to become one of the most celebrated performers of his generation. He obtained a job at Boston Consulting Group as a management consultant in 1999. Following his graduation from the University of Pennsylvania, Legend spent his nights writing, performing, and pursuing the passion he couldn't ignore. Even if the work provided stability and prestige, he has claimed that the collaboration, problem-solving, and high standards he acquired while working as a consultant benefited him in the music business. You imagine international superstars, award-winning performers, and legendary coaches who helped make The Voice is one of the most adored singing competitions on television when you think of Kelly Clarkson, Adam Levine, and John Legend today. However, each of they had to begin somewhere, frequently in locations far from the glitter of the music industry. Long before the red chairs, the buzzer-smacking excitement, and the banter that made millions of spectators giggle every week, their experiences taught them discipline, perseverance, and a desire for greater things. Their journeys were a patchwork of early jobs, side gigs, and grinding out moments that went beyond simple skill. Although these pre-fame periods may appear unremarkable at first glance, they served as the foundation for remarkable careers. Kelly Clarkson was a Texas girl with a strong work ethic before she became the first ever American Idol winner in 2002 and a dominant coach on The Voice. Kelly, who was reared in Burleson after being born in Fort Worth, knew she wanted to be a singer since she was a young child. But aspirations don't pay the bills. She worked at a variety of jobs in her late teens to make ends meet while awaiting her big break. Among her most memorable performances, working in a comedy club as a cocktail waitress. In an early interview, Kelly recounted, "I was just trying to survive, while secretly hoping I'd get the courage to hand someone my demo. I'd serve drinks to People who were laughing uncontrollably. She had other hustles though. She also worked as a movie theater salesperson, a telemarketer, and even did some demo vocals for Dallas music studios. Almost all of the record labels she tried out for Los Angeles turned her down at one point. She almost gave up and went back to Texas after her car was towed and her flat burned down, believing that perhaps going to college would be a safer option. She learned how to handle a variety of personalities and maintain her cool throughout her years working as a cocktail waitress. She now uses these skills as a coach when working with candidates ranging from timid and shaky to outspoken talents who believe they know everything. That was my boot camp, she said on The Voice. Those nights balancing trays of drinks while people heckled comedians. American Idol followed after one golden ticket and one audition, and the rest was history. Within a year, she received her first Grammy and a microphone took the place of her server apron. As someone who understands what it's like to grind just to keep the lights on, she clicks her red button on The Voice. Today, Adam Levine was just another Los Angeles teen attempting to get into the music industry, taking on numerous side gigs to support his goal until he fronted Maroon 5, scored several chart-topping records, and emerged as one of the most dynamic and often divisive coaches in The Voice's history. Among his first jobs, walking a dog. Adam once admitted, half laughing, "Before I became a professional musician, I worked as a dog walker. I used to walk these pampered dogs for about $10 an hour at my little Beverly Hills company. I didn't live as well as the dogs did in order to pay for the rehearsals of his early band, Kara's Flowers." He also worked as a production assistant for a television show, a job he loathed. Adam frequently joked that he spent more money on coffee and guitar strings than on rent because that band, which would eventually become Maroon 5, was having trouble defining itself. Another crucial position, composing music for other performers. Levine was writing lyrics in small homes and mailing tapes to labels that seldom paid attention before this love launched Maroon 5 into success. Without a name, he had to demonstrate his talent for storytelling and melody in tiny, selfless ways, such as backing vocals for commercials, doing unpaid studio work, and playing free shows to maintain his band's reputation. His tenacity from these early jobs helped shape his coaching style on The Voice. Stern, but supportive, brutally honest, but also acutely aware of the grind. During one particularly memorable season, he stated, "I tell these young artists, don't be afraid to walk dogs, make coffee, do what you have to do, because you can tell you're in it for the right reasons if you're prepared to do whatever it takes to continue making music." Those who are familiar with John Legend as a 10-time Grammy winner, an EGOT achiever, and one of the most expressive voices in music may be surprised by his pre-fame years. He was born John Stevens in Springfield, Ohio, but he took a corporate diversion before becoming famous. John obtained a distinguished position as a management consultant at Boston Consulting Group, BTG, in New York City following his graduation from the University of Pennsylvania. He was there playing the piano and creating songs at night, while during the day he was advising businesses on strategy, analyzing spreadsheets, and wearing fitted suits. The job was done well. It was a good wage. In an interview, John acknowledged that his parents were proud. "However, whenever I was in that office buildings, I had the impression that my soul was somewhere else, on a stage, behind a piano, or somewhere else entirely." He did open mix weddings and tiny clubs on the weekends. Additionally, he played piano in sessions for musicians such as Lauren Hill. That eerie piano in her song. Everything is everything. He was that person. He was leading two lives. A creative life at night and a corporate life during the day. His contacts in the music industry eventually paid off. He started working on songs with Kanye West, who was then a rising producer.